What is CyberNow education and how is it created? It was 2019 and Tyler Wall was on the Dave Ramsey debt snowball, and he was gazelle intense, baby. His wife and him had just thrown everything in the yard on a Saturday on an impulse and had a yard sale. His neighbors all thought they were crazy, but it wasn't the first time. I'm sure his neighbors thought they were in some type of financial hardship and bought too big of a house. A few neighbors even had the curiosity to ask them directly to their faces why they were holding the yard sale, and if they were moving. They made a few $100, but it didn't stop there. Tyler locked himself in his home office the next week and determined not to come out until he had a side hustle. He scrolled through all sorts of articles until he landed on making a simple ebook. It had never crossed his mind at this point to make an ebook. Over the course of the next several hours, the simple ebook turned into a master plan to change the industry. A simple ebook suddenly evolved into 3 books, 5 years, 6 figures. This was a program designed for the cybersecurity industry to soften the exponentially increasing demand for cybersecurity analysts. Tyler knew at the time that cybersecurity had these 2 problems. 1, there wasn't enough talent to fill the position that needed to be filled, and 2, candidates were job hopping and taking advantage of the situation to go from $50,000 to $100,000 plus in just 2 to 3 years. He knew that this couldn't go on forever and the industry would correct itself. So he devised this plan for employers and for those with atypical backgrounds, those without formal education and certifications, but were self-taught, to be able to easily fill in their gaps with his education and play matchmaker with employers. He could sell a few books and get money when they're hired, and for every promotion they get if they stick around long enough to make it to lead SOC analyst. It's a win-win. People with atypical backgrounds get a chance, and employers get an employee that is educated to a standard and will stick around. Tyler worked on this idea feverishly and even threw up a temporary website and started reaching out to some of the vendors he had worked with professionally. Fortinet was super awesome and supportive. They took the time to tell him about their vet programs and how it would help them. He was on fire, and his master plan had the grandiosity that even Elon Musk would have been proud of. After that weekend, Tyler woke up on Monday and went back to work, and reality set in again. He left his bubble and was back in the real world. He looked at what he did that weekend and thought some of it was still good. He was only one person, but he had just come up with a plan that was so big that is daunting in reality. So just for kicks, he sent emails to publishers with the idea, and more than a few got back to him interested in his books. But it was almost as if they were used to this type of thing and started to reel back his idea to something reasonable. That's when Jumpstart Your SOC Analyst Career happened, and CyberNow Education LLC was born. The LLC was for tax purposes for all the fantastic royalties that he was going to get, right? The now is symbolism for the gazelle intense ignite of passion that he felt that weekend that lives with him a little bit every single day as he continues to grow these ideas little by little in his free time. In 2020, I teamed up with Tyler and we turned his first book into a course for Udemy and other platforms. My job is to present the information through video production, as the speaker and deliverer of information, editing, and other relative tasks to video content creation production. We now have more books and courses under our umbrella and are finding more opportunities to fill gaps in the cyber and cybersecurity verticals. Tyler is always looking for ways to grow and is expanding his network, team, and resources along the way. And we've been fortunate enough to work with some very talented people, and we continue to nurture those relationships. Today, we're still focused on people with atypical backgrounds, and we're still focused on being useful and relevant to the industry and to employers. The idea is developed into a mission of accessible cybersecurity training. Accessibility means more than wheelchair ramps and handicap parking. It means that learning can be accessed and consumed by people with all backgrounds, even including but not limited to those with disabilities. This means our content has to be at a price point that is accessible, under $100. The format in which it is delivered has to be accessible. Books, audiobooks, videos, courses, subtitles, etc. Where they can access it has to be accessible. Phone, desktop, tablet, and poorer countries. The content that is consumed has to be as useful as mainstream premium content, even though it might be on less of a budget. And the content has to be engaging and interesting, so people want to consume it. It's a challenging and tricky ordeal, and that's what makes it so much fun. We're excited to be continuously working on the same project for so long, and we look forward to working with you in whichever capacity that is, at CyberNow Education.